For many parents, coping with a stressful situation like that today in Vista and talking to their children about it can be challenging and emotional.
Joining us now with some advice on this is Dr. Lynn Lunceford, a clinical psychologist from the University of Phoenix. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
An important day for a lot of parents to get this advice from you. What should they be saying to their children right now?
Well, it depends upon the child's age. It will vary. For younger children, what we want to do is make it very simple, and we need to try not to overreact because the younger children will key off of our emotions. So to be able to hear them, talk to them, give them the opportunity to talk with us and tell us how they feel. Older kids will have a harder time just freely vocalizing what they feel. They do better when we have activities such as board games, going biking. If they have something that they're doing with us, they're much more likely to talk about how they're feeling.
How are school officials handling this, and what's your advice for them in terms of trying not to create panic in those initial moments when they have to say to kids, okay, we're gonna do a lockdown now?
It's so tough because one of the criticisms of Virginia Tech is they didn't react appropriately in the first place. So school officials right now are really on a heightened alert, and that's appropriate. We want to protect our kids at all costs. So finding that balance is really tough. Probably what we need to do, though, is look at the threat assessment of school violence. And there are some key factors that the Secret Service has identified on looking at school violence. And knowing those threat factors will help us prevent it in the future.
What do you think we should do as we go into the future? In San Diego alone, there have been just a rash of things that have disrupted school classrooms this week alone, whether someone scrawled something on a wall, whether they phoned something in, whether someone heard a noise that may or may not have been gunfire today. In general, what is your advice?
Well, we're all very jumpy right now, and that's natural and to be expected. I think the real danger will be as we get more complacent again, that we then start to forget that there are these threats. I think we have to be able to connect with those kids who are the potential danger. One of the things we know about that type of child is that they are not connected to adults generally. One of the schools in the report from the Secret Service that looked at threat assessment of school violence showed that if teachers put names of kids up on a board and they all asterisk the names of kids they have a relationship with, those kids who are not asterisked need outreach. They need for an adult to try to connect with them because those are the kids who are at risk.
We have a kind of a tough job to do in the media. What's your recommendation, your advice for those of us who have to cover these things?
It is tough because when we focus on the shooter, as you know, as we've been talking about, that glorifies the shooter. It does not, however, put ideas into kids' heads who didn't already have those ideas. The kids who become school shooters were already troubled in some way. Often they're isolated, they've often been severely depressed, and even suicidal themselves. They've often communicated their intent to at least one other person, and 50% of the time they've communicated it to more than 2 people. So what we have to do is get better at detecting those signs. I think in the media, what we're doing is giving the information that people are looking for. If they don't get it from you, they're going to look on the web. The search for school violence has been phenomenal on the web.
And then the rumor mill churns away, of course.
And quickly tonight, what should the parents do with their children tonight? Some kind of activity, some kind of conversation, some kind of not talking about it. Just quickly, what is your
You bet. And try to normalize as much as they can a nice dinner, relaxing activity. And if this child starts to show signs of school avoidance or school phobia in the next few days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, connect with the school counselor right away so we don't let that progress.
Good advice. Thank you so much,
Dr. Lynn Lunceford. Thank you very much. Here's the bottom line now in today's school scare in Vista.